When it comes to corruption, it seems women have taken it to a whole new level. Their audacity too is out of this world. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, asked the Accountant General of the Federation to transfer the sum of 585 million naira to a private account. This is against the Public Sector Financial Regulations 2009. As if the regulations wasn't enough deterrent for the minister, one Halima Shehu, the national coordinator of the National Social Investment Program Agency, was suspended a few days ago, it's not up to 1 week ago, for the same thing she did. Halima Shehu and the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development under Buhari, that's Sadiya Umar Farouk, they are involved in the transfer of 44 billion naira to private and corporate accounts. So immediately she was suspended, the EFCC picked her up, not that she had immunity in the first place, but she has started singing like a bird. Also, the EFCC quickly froze the 30 billion naira they could find in some private accounts.
This is a very transparent system that is traceable from the CBN account directly to the account of the beneficiaries. For Nigerians who do not have accounts and do not have the NIN, we are actually working to open accounts and money wallets for all of these persons.
So despite all this, the minister, Betta Edu, went ahead to authorize the transfer of more than 500 million naira to private accounts. Since this document became public, the Accountant General came out to say that they declined the demand from the ministry that they do not authorize or transfer money for MDAs or ministries. That was why the minister herself authorized the transfer. She came out in defense to prove that she has the right to transfer such funds to private accounts, which is contrary to Section 713 of the Public Sector Financial Regulations 2009. It says, personal money shall in no circumstances be paid into a government bank account, nor shall any public money be paid into a private bank account. Any officer who pays public money into a private account is deemed to have done so with fraudulent intention. So her attempt to justify the transfer of public money to private accounts is not tenable. There's a reason the law was made to prevent people from transferring such monies into private accounts. And the worst part is that when this administration came to power, they condemned outrightly the mode of transfers. The Buhari administration handled the palliatives and monies they paid to poor people. They said that it was not trackable, the number of accounts and the number of people that they paid the money. So they decided to abandon the mode of transfers that Buhari administration did. Now, they are now moving money to private accounts to give people in cash. All these are not tracked. Let's not even go into the authenticity of the people they gave that money, whether they reached the people or not. Why do they always think that they can eradicate poverty by giving people cash? All the money that Buhari shared to people as social benefits, what did he achieve? How many people did he lift out of poverty? So why do they keep doing something that doesn't work and hoping that miraculously it will work? It's simple. It's because they make a lot of money for themselves. They steal all this money. Otherwise, why should they decide to give that money out in cash? And considering that 100 billion naira was budgeted for this same Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs in this year's budget, what could go wrong with all the billions? Just like when they said they will give millions of people 8,000 naira as support and palliative because of petrol subsidy removal, what can 8,000 actually do for a family of 4? Even now that they claim to be giving people 20,000 naira, what can 20,000 do for a family of 4? 20,000 cannot sustain them for even a week in today's Nigeria. Besides, feeding is not the only need of man. A father has to pay the school fees of his kids. He has to pay his house rent. He has to transport himself to work every day. So 20,000 given to a family of 4 is too small to make an impact. In fact, even if they give it to one person, it's still too small to make an impact on the economy or to lift them out of poverty. If they insist on using money to lift people out of poverty, then they will need to up the amount to about 200 or 500,000 naira. At least that 200,000 naira can buy many bags of grains that can last them up to 6 months or even more, so that they will know that their feeding has been taken care of. They will not have to work for other needs, concentrate on their job if they have any. They will use the remaining they have, instead of spending them on feeding, they will use that for transportation, paying house rent, and other needs. The best way to spend this kind of money on the people is to look at the Chinese and the Vietnamese model. Even Bangladesh has something like that. They will need to spend it on vocational training for the people, even if it involves flying them abroad to learn how to manufacture little things. You start by making a market research. You get into the markets, major markets in Nigeria, ask around, ask them, this product, this little product, this cross, this item, this opener, the little things that they sell in the market. You ask them, where do you import this from? How much are you selling it? These are the things you look at and say, okay, we'll create an industry that will support this. So instead of these marketers buying them abroad, they will be forced to buy them from the people who produce them in Nigeria. That's how you start. And the second part, the second chain reaction that will support the industry is to find where they will get the raw materials. If the raw materials are available in Nigeria, you have to make sure that that industry also is created. You have to find people that will develop it in such a way that they will supply the people that you will train to manufacture them. There's a serious power shortage in Nigeria. So you have to create industrial clusters that are very close to the markets. All the markets you identify in Lagos, Onitsha, Aba, all the major markets in Nigeria, you have to create these industrial clusters around the market. When the 1,000 that have gone for training, or maybe they were trained in Nigeria, they will now be given equipment, all the imported machineries that will be used in manufacturing these items. The government will now turn all these as loans. If all the machinery and everything that the person is given as a startup is worth like 5 million naira, it will become a loan. That 5 million naira will be repaid over the years, maybe 20 years or even 30 years. Yes, and the moratorium must start at least 6 months after they start operations. Because you can't expect someone to start repaying a loan when he hasn't started earning anything from the venture. So at least give them some time to start earning something, and by 6 months after they started, they will start repaying the loans. This way you create a cycle that will make a serious impact on the economy. You already have the supply chain, the people who mine the resources that supply the people who manufacture the items, and they have orders from marketers, traders in the market who come to buy from them. They will be busy year round because their market is there. People will start placing orders for their products. That way, many of them will start to expand because they can no longer fulfill orders on time. That's how you create more employment. You continue using this method till you cover almost all the market, all the items that are sold in the market. You cover all of them. All SMEs will manufacture all the products sold in Nigerian markets. So that way you have more impact. You get more people employed. The government earns more taxes. Everyone is happy. Instead of all the deception, they take money and say they're paying into private accounts because the person is the facilitator or in charge of distribution of the money. Who comes up with all this nonsense? At the end of the day, whether they are stealing or not, the 20,000, 50,000 doesn't make any impact. The economy doesn't in any way benefit in the sharing of this money. So it is better they direct the money to SMEs, train people, educate them. The skills they lack in order to manufacture a small item, a small product. Teach them that skill and give them machinery and equipment. Put them in an industrial cluster where they will have guaranteed 24-hour power supply and watch the Nigerian economy boom. Thanks for watching.
Tinubu.